Hey everybody, this is Mark here from Gary's Guitars in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I'm here to do the tariff talk. So, this being February 27th, 2025, all this is true for what's happening right now. You being in the future might know more than I do, but here's some tariff talk. I also have to say that whenever I talk about economics, I sometimes get accused of being political. And it's not true. Economics does not care about your political party or your religion or any of that. Economics is just facts. So, here are some economics and some talk about tariffs. So, before you leave comments about being political, this is not an attempt to be political. This is an attempt to talk, frankly, about economics. So, what are tariffs? Tariffs are taxes. Tariffs are taxes on goods that are imported. Taxes are tariffs. Tariffs are taxes. Look them up in the thesaurus. It's the same thing. So, this is an additional little bit of tax they would collect as goods pass in the United States. It used to be the most common tax we would have in the pre-income tax times. Now, they exist, and they're used basically to balance trade deficits. So if a lot of stuff's coming in and nothing's going out, if we can just kind of manipulate how basically it manipulates the end cost of goods and the cost of importing the goods. And sometimes importers will say, like, well, I don't want to import this thing, it costs too much, let's use the local thing instead. And it's a way to just collect some extra tolls on the highway. So how is this going to affect the guitar world? Well, let's talk about Fender, because Fender has Mexico is one of the countries that tariffs are being threatened against, and Fender makes most of their stuff in Mexico. They make parts for American-made guitars. They make all their, their Player series and all their Ventura series, and it's a big factory. It's bigger than the American factory, and it makes a lot of stuff. So will there be tariffs on that stuff? And then we have the Asian-made Fender stuff, the made in China Fender. So we now know that there is, there's tariffs have been threatened against Mexico. Now they're on hold, and a tariff in Canada. But Canadian guitars are Godins. We love Godin guitars. We don't know how this tariff thing might work. But the first thing to realize is that these are negotiating points. It is a point that can be negotiated back from, and so the Trump tactic is to ask for way too much and negotiate back to what you want. And so you make the other person feel like you negotiated backwards, but you're actually getting what you want. So if you want a 10% tariff, then you threaten a 25% tariff, and then you negotiate back to the 10% tariff. And look, you won. I came down more than half. So our negotiation is a success, but it leaves in place a tariff. And the Chinese tariffs are already 10%, and they're already going to happen. Fender actually sent me a letter yesterday saying this is how we're going to deal with it. And this, I believe, is how it's going to be dealt with across the board, too. So the tariff is not on the final price. The tariff is on the cost of importing the good. So if a $300 guitar from Fender, Chinese-made Fender Squire, costs me $200, rough numbers, and it probably costs Fender $100 to make it and $20 to get it here. It's a guess. Or it could be less. Just say $100, $200, $300 for that. When that tariff, 10% tariff goes in, it's a 10% tariff on the $100 of the cost of the good, which is $10. Now that $10, as it reflects on the final price, is a smaller percentage. So what Fender told me is we're going to split the difference with you. We're going to raise map prices. We're going to raise my price by 5%, and we're going to raise map prices by 5%. And then you can collect a little more money selling it, and we can collect a little more money selling it to you, and everything's going to be okay. I'm doing accordion hands here. And this is, I believe, how other companies are going to deal with this. Now, when you see guitar stores and the suppliers for guitar stores, like getting your pre-tariff orders, it's a marketing ploy. Tariffs are coming. Buy all this stuff right now, or especially our companies who get things manufactured in China. They're like, better stock up now at the old price. The price will be changing. Now, during the first Chinese trade war, at the beginning of the first Trump presidency, a lot of the distributors sucked up that cost. They're like, okay, some things were put, some prices went up, and the distributors were like, well, we just want to keep things where they are. We can afford to make that little bit of margin correction because we want to keep the $99 things $99. But then inflation came around, and guess what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we don't have to hold that $99 price point on the guitar pedals or whatever, because everything that was $99 is now $109. When we talk about price points, these things are important. I, as someone who sells to the end buyer, if I offer, actually I have one right here, this Squire, it's kind of nice, made in China, crafted in China. Price tag on it is $299. $299 for this guitar, great value. $309, it's $10 more, but doesn't sound as great a value. It's like $299 for this, I'll take it. $309, it just, even though it's a $10 price difference, it sounds like a whole other price, because $299 is just a psychological place, and these things exist. $599 is one of those. $600 is more than $599, or $625 seems like a lot more money than $599. The difference between $499 and $425. So keeping those 99 margins, maximizing in the customer's mind the value they're getting in for price. So by changing those maps, so this becoming a 309 guitar, it doesn't do me much good. We'll see what happens. But in that case, that particular kind of offer from Fender was because Fender, everyone's been messing with their map prices with inflation and just whatever scarcities and stuff like that, and now they're pulling some map prices back again. So for those of you who don't know, map is minimum advertised price. That's kind of the street price on things. With other companies, so right now we're going to see, I was just saying a half a minute ago, buy now, tariffs are coming, and it's going to be used in marketing. So don't get too scared of that. It's not necessarily going to be a 25% tariff. It may be a 10% tariff, and it's a 10% tariff on the cost of the goods, not the end cost of the goods. I mean, not the end buyer's cost, but the cost of importing it, which can be lower, and so it can be a third of, it could be $3.33 instead of $10, depending on those margins. So, will tariffs come at all? Maybe. Depends on those negotiations. They're being used as a negotiating point. So, let's leave it at that for now. That's my tariff talk, the terror of tariffs. So, the points are, don't fear. It's the inflation we've had lately and the effect of these tariffs are going to be kind of the same thing. So the prices are not going to be doubling. Some of this will be sucked up by the seller and by the importer, and so some of these prices will not be, price changes won't even be passed on because we want to keep these sterling price points. And prices are going up everywhere, so it's hardly noticeable. So I say the tariff terror is nothing to worry about, but we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for watching all the other videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe and like and all that. I do say please subscribe. I forget to. Our watchership, our views far extend or far beyond any kind of subscription that so we get the watches of a much higher subscribed channel. I think that's because there's some subscription fatigue, but also people just don't hit that button. So hit that button. We'll see you next time.